PT, hi, I am so sorry. Good morning. It is 5:12 a.m. here in Tanzania. Thank you all so much for joining me with this live. And I must apologize to those who saw a earlier session for starting. I think it was something like 2 1, I'm not sure, 1 a.m. Dar time. What happened was I was setting up the schedule for the live and I was halfway asleep and I was like, I'm going to do this live no matter what. And I between being halfway asleep and half awake, I scheduled 1 a.m. And then when I woke up later at about almost 3, I saw it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope no one came into the studio and was waiting. And then it didn't, they didn't, schedule or come in and was waiting for me to start when actually I had meant 5 a.m. So I want to sincerely apologize to people who came earlier, but I felt was halfway asleep. So I call this the sermon from the cliff. Why the cliff and where is the cliff? I am on the cliff. You best believe there is a cliff right here, and I'm standing at the edge of it because the cliff is the place between when you just start a new project. It's the place between where you are and where you want to be. And the gap between where you are and where you want to be is a veritable cliff. It is wide, it is deep, it is, you cannot see how you're going to get to the other side. And if, and you just work as hard as you can with what you have available to you. And then you get to this part where you're like, okay, how do I get from here to there? Because if you don't really have a good strategy and a good framework, when you get to that part, that's the part where you can potentially give up, where you can potentially say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. There's too much stress. There's too much energy involved in this, and I ain't got no time for that. So that's where we are now. We're at the cliff because this is a new business venture. It's a new opportunity. And I didn't know how new. I thought that the the Tanzanian people already knew, or the people in Dar es Salaam already knew about this business and how to do this business. And it is not the case. It is not as cut and dry and direct as with most things in Tanzania as I expected it to be. So there's a lot of research, there's a lot of development, there's a lot of marketing. I'm at the place where I'm doing the marketing strategy, I'm doing the packaging, I'm doing getting all of the documentation, I'm getting all of the paperwork, I'm doing everything all at once because we're outside of the purview of what has become common to deal with the seaweed business, which in this particular case, the industry is accustomed to farm raised seaweed. That's what they're accustomed to. That is what their entire commercial market is about. It's about farmed raised. And there is no other room for anything else. No, there is another room. I'm not going to say there's no other room. I shouldn't say that. I'm just saying that there isn't enough, there isn't anything else as far as knowledge and information and development is concerned. And so it comes with its unique challenges. And because the challenges are unique, it also creates a huge opportunity, to do something that isn't being done, to develop a product that isn't on the market coming from this country, to develop employment opportunities that isn't, it doesn't exist in my community. And it's more than a huge opportunity. It's like stepping from the gray into the light. That's how it feels. So, I know a lot of people are out there on their entrepreneurial journey, or they're on different, paths in their life. But this is the important thing. When you have to start with what you have available to you. That is number one, okay? Don't try to wait for everything to fall into place and for you to have all the money and for you to look at the thing and go, well, I don't have the money for that. One of the things that I've said it before, with the Exodus House Project, that people might see that house and go, well, well, I could never do that, or, what she did, that's too much, or I could never be able to do something like that. Let me explain something to you. Learning this strategy is one of the most valuable things I've ever learned in Jamaica. It's called every mickle makes a muckle, right? Bit by bit. That is my strategy. There is no way of seeing the thing to the end and then saying, oh, I have all the money, I'm going to do that. And that's how, when you go to Jamaica, some places like Mandeville or Beverly Hills in Jamaica or Red Hills, you see some big palatial mansions. You see these big, fantastic houses. They don't fall from space, and they weren't built by gods, and they weren't built by billionaires. They were built by people, normal, hardworking people who came up with the strategy, who are endowed with the strategy of bit by bit, small. In Tanzania, they say kidogo kidogo. That's how we were able to do the Exodus House. Kidogo kidogo, bit by bit, little by little. So I decided to, go on this new venture with the same strategy, with the same concept, but it is a lot. It's a lot bigger than I thought. But the way you swallow an elephant is not in one gulp. You start one toe, then you get a foot, then you get a whole leg, then you know the, before you know it, you've eaten the whole thing, right? And there's so much. We're in the fever pitch days of doing all of the work. And when I say I'm talking about Jackson and myself. So when I started to work on it, I was doing the physical work of, the harvesting and the drying and, the processing to show the guys how it goes. Because handling sea moss is is something that is very natural to me. It's natural in our environment in Jamaica. And, there's so many like ironies that you can't make up. There's so many things with this that you simply can't make up. Hello, good morning, Eveline. How are you? Well, evening where you are, right? So what I was talking about was, this is not just a new venture, but also a whole entire new industry. A new industry for me, for the Tanzanian people, a new industry for me, a new industry um, for everyone around us, because the Tanzanian, yes, Hey, Emperor, Emperor, thank you. Yes, so the Tanzanian people, this is not something that they're commonly accustomed to dealing with. So what we have to do is look for the strategies and the opportunities. And if they're, this is common to me. I don't know about anybody else in, but this CMOS and feeding it to myself and feeding it to my kid and handling it and knowing where it comes from and knowing, and this is so common. It's so like, and the funny thing is I don't come from no seafaring family. We didn't live by the sea. We didn't live by the sea. So the knowledge that I have about this thing doesn't come from my family passed down by generations. What had happened was when I was a little girl, I had I don't know if it was vitiligo or what, but I had skin, I had different colored skin, and the recommendation was to take me to the beach as often as possible to get my pigment even, right? That's why sometimes you can see me and I'm really dark, I'm really light, my complexion is not necessarily stable because there was never a real complexion to begin with. So um that continued. My parents had to take me to the beach consistently when I was a child to even out and even put me in the sun at home to get my skin to start, darkening and really, get a proper pigmentation. And there are places on my body where I still have some of that patches. And if you know me well and if you look at me closely enough, you will find those patches on my skin, right? And when I went back to Jamaica as a teenager, I missed that. I missed being able to, I missed going to the beach because I left Jamaica when I was small. Went to Florida first, and then went to New York. And then when I came back to Jamaica, I for sure wanted to go back to the beach as often as I could. And going, by myself to places and watching people and studying how the fishermen and the fisher folk do things, just walking the beach and seeing things by myself on my own and taking things into my own person. And you know what the weird thing is? This is the weirdest thing ever. So I have people who know me from I was a child, know me when I was a teenager. And one of my friends said, "Oh, you finally become the marine biologist you wanted to be." And it's funny, my first love I didn't want to become anything else when I was a little girl, nothing else until I went to the Miami Seaquarium. I went to Coconut Grove Elementary, and I couldn't get over like these massive aquariums. We lived in Coconut Grove. The convention center in Coconut Grove is right along the sea. And so we could go like, there was a little cliff that you could walk down and you could just look at, study the crabs, the barnacles, the hermit crabs, and all the little creatures that would come on shore. And I took to that. I took off. My mom can tell you, I wanted to be a marine biologist more than anything. And then what crashed that was we moved to New York, and I didn't dash the dream. And the first thing I did was I got an aquarium and I went to a pet store, and there was this old white guy by the name of John, and I'd go in there every day and across from the library. So I'd go to the library to get my books on fish. There was a well-known writer called Axelrod, and he wrote extensively on raising aquarium fish. I was going to be a marine biologist. You can tell me nothing. And then I started to go across the street on Gun Hill Road. So if you know Gun Hill Road in the Bronx, on the left-hand side is the library, and on the right side, where there are now shops, there used to be a shop in there in the 80s. And I used to go in there and bug this guy. And he said, well, why don't you just come and, help me clean the tanks? And I was like, yes, very much. And so I would go and help him clean the tanks, and he would give me fish, and I would take them to my little aquarium, and I would lie on the floor while I did my homework, and I'd watch them, and I would study them, and I'd write them down. And when I moved back to Jamaica, I thought, yes, I've now gone to an island. I'm sure going to be a marine biologist now. Jamaica had no such education, not in their college, not in their primary school, not in their high school. There was no such education about the sea and sea life and all of the and I was floored, but I always had the skill of writing, right? I had the ambition to be a marine biologist, but I had the skill of being a great writer. I had won, by this time, by going to Jamaica, I had won at least 3 writing awards, and I won spelling bees. So I had already established myself good in literacy. But now I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go be a writer then. But that spirit of loving the ocean and loving the sea and loving all that came out of it from a scientific perspective, never really left me. So I watch and I study. Now that we have this product, I can intelligently explain to the people who don't understand, who don't know this industry, who don't know the sustainability, who don't understand marine life, who don't study marine life. I can intelligently explain to them how this thing is grown, because I go out there and I document. I go out there in the low tide when the rocks are exposed. I go out there and I look at it in all stages of its development. I go out there and I look at how it feeds, how it breaks away, how it brings itself to shore, where in the phases of the moon does it come, where in the phases of the moon does it not come, where does it, its ebbs and its flows. And, there's a lot of detail information that goes into it. And especially now that we're talking about, moving into this wild harvesting, because the thing is, you have to also make sure, especially now that people have education, you have to make sure that whatever it is you're doing is sustainable, that whatever it is you're doing, that the market you will be able to consistently draw on that. You'll be able to consistently harvest that or make a living, or if you cut down a tree, are you planting one? And it's not just a huge selling point for when it goes to, when it goes to the consumer market. That's not the point. The point is to make sure that this planet goes on when you are good and dead and gone and made all of your money. It's to make sure that the animal life and the plant life that depend on the natural resources that you are harvesting goes on and on to generations and generations. So our policy, just based on what I know, and my exposure to the sea when I was like a child, up between the ages of like 9 to 10, and using that experience, I know where not to pull this from, how not to pull it. If it didn't come to shore, or if it's not floating, don't touch it. So that's how I've been, instructing the guys, because the actual weed breaks away in the tide, because it has reached maturity. And if it's not harvested, what happens is it will stay on the shore, and the sun will wilt it, right? And there's just so much that goes into it. But I know where to say, don't do this, do this. And I think that could be a great resource for the community around me, as far as helping with the information and the education on marine and sea life. So I don't know where that will go, but it's just so, there are just so many weird things with this. You know, look at one of the only other places that you can really get wild sea moss is in Jamaica. One of the booming sea moss industries in the world, in the Western Hemisphere, is Jamaica. And the irony of a Jamaican person all the way in East Africa finding something valuable and useful, and saying, look it, we can do something with this, is just so weird, because the people here are accustomed to farm. Now, when you see sea moss that says wild crafted, wild crafted means it's raised in the sea, in the wild, and they use anchors to weigh it so it doesn't float away. And then so they put these stakes in the ground and they tie ropes to the stakes, and then they tie the sea moss to the rope so the sea moss doesn't float away. And so they're using craft to raise it in the wild. But the way how the wild algae behaves, it's different from how a crafted sea moss behaves, right? Thank you, Odrinwe. Yes. So the way how the wild behaves is much different from how the actual the actual the farm, the wild crafted behaves. So in the wild, the creature, I call it a creature, okay, because it's an intelligent life form. That's how I see it. I think it's very intelligent. What it does is you have these ancient rocks it's called the intertidal zone. The intertidal zone is the zone between the area between the shore and breakwaters. Okay, so a breakwater is a natural rock formation that stops the water from coming in to the shore. So it kind of holds back the tide. Okay, so that's called the intertidal zone. So where these rocks are, is where the creature mostly lives. So it anchors itself to these ancient rocks, not on the top. It goes on the inside. So let's see, if you can see the inside of my hand, it will go on the inside curvature of there, and that's where it will stay. And then it uses its stamen, or the kelp, to absorb the photosynthesis from the sun, and then it uses its anchor roots to absorb the minerals and all of the nutrients from the rock. And so it has anchor roots. It has a way of getting photosynthesis. It knows to stay under the shelf of the rock, because under the shelf of the rock, it's not getting too much sun, and it can hold itself there while the tide goes out and comes. And then when it reaches maturity, the tide dislodges it from the anchor roots, from its anchor roots and from its little cavern area, and then it will come with the tide, right? So let me see. Let me just block some of these spam things here. I'm gonna block another one. All right. So That is the craziest thing ever, that someone who, let me replace this with, let me just replace this. If what I'm saying is of value to you, please go ahead and send me a Cash App. But what I'm saying to you now is, yes, I've replaced it with something. What I'm saying to you is, this is a very tricky time for a small business. Starting where you are with what you have available, doing what you can with what you know how to do. And so the opportunity is more than just, yes, look what I found. The opportunity is, it's now massive, right? It's now, look what I found. This is how it can be developed into an industry. This is how we can build a community, community involvement. This is how we can regenerate a resource that is underused and underutilized. This is how diverse this particular product is. We are able to expand into these markets and provide something that is not in the marketplace, right? So really knowing everything, every single thing about your business is the essential part of the sustainability of your business. All right, hold on. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Ajinwe. Yeah. So understanding every detail about your business and every opportunity that those details present, right? And you have to write it down somewhere, whether making a PowerPoint or whatever, but write it down. And then when it gets to the stage of a finished product, you can say, these are the selling points. This is our unique selling point. This is what sets us apart from everyone else. This is what puts us above and beyond everyone else. This is what puts us in a different category. This is why our packaging should look like this. This is why our sales strategy should look like this. This is what the market will bear with pricing. This is how the product should be developed within the next 10 years. These are the retailers who will purchase this product. This is the kind of pricing that this product will bear. This, you have to know all of those details in and out. And it comes from the very beginning. It comes from the inkling. Okay, it comes from the very small place of the passion and the desire to understand everything about your business. If you don't, let's see, I don't use Sendwave. I use oh gosh, let me see. There is something here on my screen that I'm trying to get off. Okay, there. No, I don't want to. Wait 1 second. Oh, there we go. But no, I don't use Sendwave. I use World Remit, but you can always email me and I will send you the World Remit details. And this is also for consultations as well, right? So understanding the full spectrum of your business from the beginning to the end. But it also starts with doing what you can with what you have. Rome was not built in a day, people. Please stop looking at these celebrities and these people who do things and go, wow, that's great. Or even me and go, oh my gosh, she did that? Yes. But little by little, and even in the mindset, and even if you have all the money to get your thing from the beginning to the end, the strategy of little by little gives you the insight to completely understanding the little parts of your business. So it's good that we're starting this, bro. It's really, really good because it forces you in a place where you must make do with what you have in a very small way, right? And it's good and it's also bad. And that's where we are at the cliff is, okay, so we have the knowledge, we have the education, we have the resources, we have the product, we have the marketing strategy, we have the community strategy, we know exactly how the pricing is going to go. But how do we get from here to there? Okay. And so this is why it's valuable to start where you are with what you have available to you. Do not ever look at anyone on this planet and go, oh, I can't do that, or oh, I can't understand, what he's doing or what she's doing, or blah 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 blah, or how she does that. Don't do that, because none of us were born with anything. None of us, no celebrity, no basketball player, nobody was born with a Bentley. Nobody was born with no villa on the Indian Ocean. No one. What you don't see is the work. Okay. And most of what you see on Instagram or mosquito, most of what you see on Instagram or on TV is about is pretty much about the product, the end product, right? The byproduct of the work. To say I've done this work, I've gone through the sleepless nights. I've gone through not having enough money to put gas in my car. I've gone through being hungry. I've gone through through knowing what it's like to not have anything, to try to bring something from the unknown into the known. I know what that feels like, right? And so you have to really look at where this person is coming from, not where they are or where they're going or all of their blessings. Think about the work that they've done, but you also have that in you to do that work. Like I said, none of us were born with a Bentley. You can do that work. You can do it. You can do it in small ways. If your goal is to start a business, right? In this day and age, you have to figure out how is the best way to start your business and where is your business going to be in 5 years from now, 10 years from now. How is your business going to grow? How is your business going to be sustainable? Who are the customers once you've developed the business? You have to have those things in your yes, you have to have those things in your wheelhouse, right? And you can't look, you know, you'll always hear this saying like, don't look down. You can't look down. Don't look down. Never look down. Like, look at where you're coming from because you'll fall. Don't look down. Don't look down. Keep flying. Keep your feet 1 foot in front of the other. Keep trying to do what you can with what you have available. There is no one coming to save you, right? There is a part in your business where you will need investors if you're starting new, where you will need support. But if you don't do the work, no one can support you. If you're not showing your work acumen, if you're not showing your ability to bring the product to market, no one is going to support you because no one can support or invest in ideas. You can see the idea. You can see it in your head. You see it in your mind. You know exactly what it's supposed to look like when it's done. Only you know that. Okay? And if you don't have no money to even start, why don't you make a little presentation? Make a PowerPoint presentation for yourself so you are forced to go and do the research to get the information to answer the questions, right? Look at products that are out there on the market that are similar to yours or not like yours at all, but start there. Do the research. Research doesn't cost anything. you have to pay for the internet any old way. You're up on YouTube, you're up on Facebook, you're up on Instagram, you're up on Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. You have to pay for the internet anyway. So why not make the internet a tool for you instead of a distraction for you, right? Am I talking to somebody? Am I saying anything? I need some life, right? Let me know in the comments. All right. Don't use this thing as a distraction to distract you from where you should go, what you should do, and where you can be. Use it as a tool to find out what is available to you based on what you're looking to do and how to do that, right? And if you are looking to you know come to Tanzania for a business development week, you let me know. I am putting that together. I am looking at somewhere. We said it earlier this year that it was 6 weeks between June. I'm sorry, 13 weeks between June and August. That is the time that I've carved out for the business development and investors tours, where you will be meeting with people from different sectors of investment in Tanzania to present you with different opportunities. Right? So go ahead and email me for that, right? And we're taking the reservations now for the investment opportunity where people can come. So I've carved out that time. Especially with this new thing that we have going on, I have to really make sure that I'm available for that time. And this is an exciting industry for or business for investors to get on. And I don't want to put myself in the position, as I always am, where I'm pushing everything else and everyone else, and the things that I should push are not myself or not my product or my projects. And so I am right along there. If you're an investor, I'm going to be pushing this on you first, because this is huge. This is huge. This is not just Renee telling you it's huge. It is a massive, massive, massive opportunity to do something that is not being done in the marketplace, and to really get our foot in the door, and do something that is not being done. And that's the truth of the matter. So we are knee deep in the early days of getting to where we need to go. There is equipment that we need to purchase. There are people that we need to hire. Okay, so the issue that we're having is this seaweed is in season. All right, it doesn't come every day, and it doesn't come every time of the day, and it doesn't come every day of the year. It's seasonal. So now that it's here, we're fast moving to towards harvesting. And so we are paying people. We have to pay staff every single day in order to keep up with the season. And so that has been a significant drain and a significant financial burden. And the initial equipment that we need to purchase to even do that, it couldn't come at a worse time. Jojo started her new school on Monday. And so all of my resources had to go towards getting Jojo into school, paying for school, doing all that needed to be done, on top of the expenses of running the house, and on top of the expenses of running my life and my business and everything else. So, we are looking for support. We're looking for, um, investors. We're looking for people who are ready to make decisions, because, and this is for the people who are not serious. Like, every time that we spend on people who are not serious, you're taking away the time from people who are serious. That's number one. And number two is, you are taking away the time from our business that we should be focusing on now. So it's not a good, this is not a good time for the looky-loos, or for the people who are indecisive, or for the people who don't know what they want, but they're just really like want to engage and want to say something and want to gather information. This is not the gathering information session. The gathering information session is somewhere down the road, when we're past this cliff, when we're past this financial gap between our needs and our productivity. Then we can turn back and provide information, or you can book a consultation to get information and advice on what you're looking to do or what you're thinking about. But at this stage in our process, we can't, we are running. We are running, where we have to keep running and running forward. So, we're not able to do things in a way that people might think is how they want to do things. Because our feet are in the fire at the moment, right? And this is a new week, a new school, right? So JoJo started a new school, and transportation, we still have to figure that out. It's 5:54 a.m. I'm going to end this call in 6 minutes, because I have to be up at 6 a.m. to get JoJo ready for school. And then once I get her ready for school, I take her to school, and then we have to go back and get her in the middle of the workday. And so we're doing everything at the same time. And so it's not a very good time to be playing looky-loo or pussyfoot. It's not fun, right? And it's a lot of stress and energy that is used up, that could be used elsewhere. So we're looking for serious people who are really ready to move forward, and move forward now, because this is the time where we need the support to get to where we can go. Okay, so if you're looking to book the Exodus House, you can email me or go to the website, exodusafrica1@gmail.com, if you're thinking of coming to Africa. Let me see. Let me just put the website here. Yeah. So if you're looking to come to Africa, or East Africa, or if you're looking to come, if not now, in the future, now would be a great time for you to go ahead and make some reservations for the Exodus House. Let me see. Yeah, I have 5 minutes left. All right. So let me know if you have any questions while I'm talking. But just so you understand, we're developing a new opportunity. What we found is if it's in the right hands, which I think it is, it can be converted to a gold mine, right? Without like the training or the education that I had, like, can you imagine a 10-year-old being educated enough to step into something when they're 40 years old? But that's what it has to be. You have to be passionate. You have to be passionate. You have to be consumed. You have to be curious. Curiosity is going to be the thing. Your curiosity and your intuition are the things that are going to put you in a place where other people cannot be, where people can just look and go, oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful scenery. Oh my gosh, I love it. Other than someone who will say, what is that? Why is it here? How did it get here? Where did it come from? Investigating and observing and taking notes Don't forget, I found that Exodus house off of curiosity. Curiosity. I wasn't looking at the Exodus house. I wasn't looking for a property. I was looking next door, and I was helping people to find houses next door. And I was going there every day trying to show people these houses. And I looked over at this wall, and every time I look at the Google Maps, I can see this space, but I couldn't tell what it was because I like to look at things from the satellite down, especially if I don't know the country or don't know the terrain or don't know something. I go to Google Maps and I call it my satellite walk. So I go to the satellite and I look at everything what's there, and I couldn't tell what it was. I knew it wasn't the house next door because I couldn't. That house is too far away. And I just asked the guy, what is behind that wall? What is over there? And he said, go and see, right? So you have to be curious enough to ask some questions. What is that? How can I do that? Don't just, go along with everything that oh, okay, it's blue, maybe scratch it, maybe it's blue and green. And ask and expose your children to things. I have 2 minutes here. Expose your kids to things, right? Expose your kids to things, show them things. And if they're passionate about something, follow them with it, follow them, give it to them, educate them, and show them something, because you don't know what where that may take them. Yes. Oh, cool. Thank you, Emperor. Yes. So a Jamaican came all the way to Tanzania, a Jamaican who comes from the environment that has some familiarity, beyond familiarity, but some kind of ecological, idea of what is going on, to come to all the way to East Africa and find an industry to develop. That's just weird. I don't know if it's fate or weirdness or God or whatever, but I think we found something that is really special, and we found something that is different, and we found something that, uh-oh, that's my alarm. Yeah, so I got to go, y'all. Please go ahead, make your reservations for the Exodus House. If you would like to make any donations or communication, or if you would like to book a consultation, go to exodusafrica1@gmail.com. If you would like to just go ahead and send us a donation, you could do that by Cash App, $ Renee Moneymaker. If you're interested in investing with us or working with us to see where we go or what we're doing, and you're ready to make a decision in the coming days, please go ahead and communicate. We will be doing another investors meeting. Today is Thursday, so I'm going to do that investors meeting on Friday. That's actually tomorrow. So I'm going to do an investors meeting. No, I can't do it Friday. That's JoJo's school time. So I'll do an investors meeting. Oh yeah. Okay. So Saturday for me. All right. So I'll do it Saturday morning, my time. I'll do another investors meeting Saturday morning at my time. At about this same time. So that will be 9 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. Okay, so we're going to do another investors meeting with the new investors. We do charge for the investors meeting. If you would like to join that investors meeting where I go through the presentation, the opportunity, please email me exodusafrica1@gmail.com. That is Exodus Africa 1. You can see it right here. Go ahead and email me for that, so that we can go through the presentation. We can go through where we are now as opposed to where we were last week, where we're going to be next week, what phases and stages we are in the process, and how we are treating your investments and what we're looking to do with this product and this opportunity. Okay, so please go ahead and email me. We do charge for the investors meeting because it is well detailed, well researched information. If there are any people here who attended the last investors meeting, let's see. Yeah, the Emperor Tanzanite, this is my email. It's right here, right? Thank you. Love you too. Yes. So, for those of you who are looking to invest, email me. We do charge for the investors meeting. Like I said, it is well researched and well detailed, and I'm not going to just give out that kind of information for free, right? Because I've done so in the past, and I still have my this project that needs daily financing, and so every bit of my time has to be utilized towards if it's not making money now, it has to be making money very, very soon to move this product to where it needs to be, because we do have people who are depending on us. And right now, it's basically a whole entire community that we can bring along with us. So I have to get on with JoJo and jump into my day. I wish you a productive and blessed day. Like I said, talking points are start with what you have, where you are. Make sure that you're doing all you can do with what you have available to you, so that someone can come along and see you and see your work and support and invest with you, not your ideas. Okay, you have to be ready and willing to do the work. I haven't slept in days until last night, and that's why there hasn't been any videos, because I was just in the thick of it, in the thick of the work. Okay, now I gotta go and get my JoJo ready. I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.